Welcome everybody to Boss Presents the Phresh Phix. I'm your host Landry Dunn, and I am here with the boss of boss, Phelix with a PH.
Hey.
I see you looking fresh in the pink. I see you. You ready?
Just trying a little something.
First of all, I just want to thank you for having this event and for holding this event and for getting everybody involved. Especially celebrating Juneteenth this year.
Mm-hmm.
This is a big one.
Yes.
So thank you for going all out.
Thank you for being a part of it.
Absolutely, absolutely. You say jump, I say how high.
Hey.
I can't very much though.
I was gonna tell you that.
But so let's talk about Boss.
Let's talk.
What was your inspiration behind starting Boss?
So my inspiration behind starting Boss was actually a PBS documentary of the same name.
Okay.
And it kind of focused on Black Wall Street and kind of how they were flourishing and then they were demolished just for simply flourishing for being black. And it made me kind of realize that that kind of generational trauma still existed within our community, and I wanted to do my part to kind of combat that.
Yeah, definitely. So with that, what is the main goal of Boss? You want to keep that in Louisville? You want to spread this nationwide, or what?
We're gonna boss the world up, baby.
Boss the world
yes.
up. I love it. So how has the response been so far from the things you've been putting on for the city?
So the response has been well received. We've done 3 events so far, and they've all sold out, and they've always been diverse and eclectic, and really highlighted the diversity that I feel exists in this city and in the black community itself. So that's been really cool, and I really look forward to pushing that forward.
Absolutely, and right now there's been such a push on people supporting black businesses and people supporting black artists, and it's very necessary. Yes. And I'm glad this has been pushing forward.
For sure.
And this Black Lives Matter movement that's going on right now, I know you've been heavily involved in it, but kind of behind the scenes. Can you just talk about what you've been doing being active?
Well, I started out on the front line myself, and it was a crazy experience. I protested for several other causes and never really felt that attacked by the police or the authority figures. So it kind of made me think about the ways that I already create resources for, like Boss, so to speak, in my events, that I could do that same thing for the protesters. So I decided to.
So you said you were attacked. What happened?
The second night of protesting, we actually got tear gas for dropping off water by the police.
Wow. Yeah, for dropping off water.
Yep. So that was a very interesting experience, especially to be there peacefully and know that I'm peaceful and know that I'm not associated with any of the foolishness that was going on down there, and to still be gassed for that was a very interesting. No, it was a traumatizing experience. Actually, I'm not even going to try to sugarcoat that. It was a very traumatizing experience, and it just made me realize that we had to think smarter instead of harder. We have a lot of heart in the fight, but we're not using a lot of brains. So I decided to step back a little bit and use my brains more and just make sure that we are as protected as we can be. I mean, we'll never be as protected as they are, but we just got to do what we can to get through.
I love that. And what I really like about that is because I know that the tear gas, physically it hurts a little bit, but it's a lot of it's used as an intimidation factor, and it's made to make us scared to go out there and fight. And I love that you were able to find a way to not necessarily be scared away from it, but find another way and a smarter way to be involved, and not put yourself back in that threat. And I love that.
Yeah. The first night, I actually ended up getting separated from my group and getting gassed and sprayed with the pepper bullets for 4 hours. So that was another thing that was confusing to me, because I thought they were trying to get us to leave, but they were actually leading us to traps. And that's what I felt like you were saying. They were trying to fear us and scare us into coming back out there to protest.
Exactly.
And it only made me feel stronger. I was getting reception in only one place where we were trapped at, and while I was there, I was like ordering supplies, like they got me fucked up. So I knew when I came back that I would be more prepared than the first time.
So you said you were separated for how long?
4 hours.
4 hours.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was separated from sun up to sundown. Yeah.
Wow.
And I never actually got reconnected. I just actually connected to some of the people stuck with me, and it was like, if we get out of here, we'll get you home.
So after that night, I know you transitioned and you started doing behind the scenes things, and you've been dropping off food supplies. Is that right?
Yeah. I still go out every day. I just change how I go out. I go out a little earlier in the day, or I leave before it gets a little rowdy. But yeah, so I focused on behind the scenes, providing the packs. We put in the packs just stuff that we felt like would keep the protesters as safe as possible and as nutritious as possible while they're out there all day. So,
which is very important, because this is the time of year when it's getting really hot outside. People need water, people need food, they need supplies, they need nourishment, and that's a way that people that don't necessarily need to be out on the front lines can get involved is just by doing things like that and providing water for people that are out there, you know. And every soldier needs somebody to have their back, and it's awesome that you're doing that and providing that for people.
Thank you. Yeah.
And you've been putting packs together what have been in the care packs? Have you put together?
So in the packs, we put in some wet wipes. We put in some tear gas spray that we make in-house. We put in some hand sanitizer, some goggles, some snacks. We do like a sweet and a savory snack, try to sustain them. We've been getting a lot of beef jerky too, like just to give them some protein. And, you know, we're trying to fit in some kind of way these face shields. You know, they're going to get a little crazy. They're not fitting in the bags we have now, but I think I'm going to work out a system to get those in there too. So just a little survival kit.
And so you've actually made something to help with the tear gas.
Yes.
You're making that in-house.
Yes.
What all goes into that?
So we put a little saline solution in some water and some baking soda. So that's what we found to be the most effective. I know people were saying a lot about the milk, but my theory is you wouldn't drink milk that you had outside all day, so why would you pour that in your eyes? So we just had to really think about ways to be productive and still be safe and still be effective. So that's why.
Well, black people, we always innovate. I tell you what, I love it. I love it. So what has been the most beautiful thing that you've seen so far as this movement and these protests that have been going on in Louisville? What stood out to you as like, man, this is really beautiful. I love this.
A few things stick out to me. I think definitely the universal like camaraderie that exists within the black people. Like we all have that same kind of trauma from racism and oppression, but we still have this like bravery and this tenacity to kind of just keep persevering and pushing through. So that's been one of the most beautiful things, just to see how we won't give up. And now that we have a space where we feel like we're being heard, we're really kicking down these doors. And that's another part that I love. I love the rowdiness. I love the rebellion and the resistance. And I love them fucking shit up. Fuck them buildings.
They got insurance, right?
Exactly. Fuck those buildings. So yeah.
So let's talk about tonight. Let's talk about the Phresh Phix. Tell me how you got the idea for that, and tell me who all is involved with it.
So originally the Phresh Phix was supposed to be a Juneteenth bazaar, but that was pre-COVID. So I still wanted to do something for Juneteenth. As you said, it's a very important one this year. And I just kind of sat back and thought about ways that I could recreate that bazaar vibe, that festival vibe, that light-hearted, fun energy for people at home without having to risk the social distancing issue. So that's why I came up with this kind of like digital purpose party.
It's beautiful.
Yes.
It's beautiful. Who all's in the lineup for tonight?
We have some heavy hitters in the lineup.
Hitters? Who we got? Who we got?
We got Hannah Drake, who's like a legend, an icon. She's just so dope, so beautiful, and she's just so she just believes in me so much, and that's very inspiring to have somebody who I look up to tell me that I'm doing a great job. So she's a great one. We have Ja'Cory Arthur and Lance Newman and Leo Broderick and just a bunch of other great people involved.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And like you said, this kind of goes into that togetherness that you've said that this kind of stood out to you.
Definitely.
Everybody just coming together for a common goal. As black people, a lot of times we are fighting against each other.
For sure.
And during this protest and this movement, I feel like we have been together a lot more than we usually are, and showcasing the talent and the creativity that we have is very important, because during any big movement that we've had historically, the arts have always been a huge part of that.
Yeah.
So having this platform to show that is very important, and I thank you for doing that, and I thank you for getting me involved. You know, it's important. So. I don't have a whole lot of talent. I can't do a lot. I can run my mouth, so I'm glad I can contribute. I'm glad I can contribute. Can't get nothing off the top shelf. I'm this big, but I can run my mouth all day with the best. So what is BOSS? Is BOSS, and for the people that aren't familiar, what is that? What does that stand for?
It stands for Blacks Organizing Strategic Success.
Yes, we are. Yeah, and that's basically kind of what all this protest has been all of us organizing.
Definitely.
Looking for
we need more
success.
of that.
And we need more of that organization.
Yes.
And that is, I think that's what will help take this movement to the next step.
For sure.
Is organizing and planning and having the next step. And
organized chaos is my favorite term that I'm using right now. Like, we could still be rowdy and we could still fuck the shit up, but we have to do it with a purpose and with intention, and we have to make sure everybody's getting in and getting out safely.
And one of the best things to do as a leader is lead by example. And just want to point out that you're doing that with these events, with the Phresh Phix, and with finding ways to provide supplies for people that are out there on the front lines. That's exactly what you're doing, and you're speaking it into existence. You're manifesting it, and you're leading by example.
I'm trying.
And that's all you can do. You put that effort out, and it becomes real. And
Yes.
that's what's happening, and that's what it's becoming real. So, what do you think that your main goal for Boss would be to?
My main goal for Boss is to continue to change the narrative and the conversations around black creatives and around black businesses. And I think black businesses kind of have like a negative connotation of being, unprofessional or lazy, or, you know what I'm saying, just not up to par with these other white businesses. And I just want to change that narrative and provide them with resources and other avenues to help elevate their experiences for their customers.
Changing the narrative, and that's I just want to pick on that for a minute, because that's also very important, because like you were talking about during the protest, you were being peaceful, you were passing out water, and you got pepper spray, or you got tear gas.
Tear gas, yeah.
Right. So do you feel like the media is controlling the narrative of the protest?
I definitely feel like the media is controlling what they want the people at home who are, I don't want to say not brave enough to be out there, but just haven't found that in themselves to make that trek out to the protest. And I get it because it is scary, but I think that it's an interesting concept because we're kind of the first generation that can real time combat those lies that the media are telling. We can document ourselves, and we can prove for ourselves that we are peaceful, or that the police are instigating us, and that the police are stealing the supplies, and that's why I need to make these packs, so when we both drop these supplies, they're not going into the wrong hands. You know what I mean? So I think it's very valid that the media has been manipulating what people see, for sure.
And that's what's so important about outlets like this, where we can tell our own story, tell our own narrative.
And that's what I want to do. I always want to give people like me, people that relate to me, people that support me, a place where they can speak their truth.
Absolutely. And so people that are watching this and that are inspired by what you're saying, how can they get involved with Boss and Phelix if they want to get involved?
They can get involved by, I host multiple different kinds of events and fundraisers. So basically, I just feel like tell your friends to pull up on me.
And I done pulled up. They live. They live. I done pulled up.
But we need the bodies. We need when we do these cool things. If we want to make sure that they can keep happening, we need people to support them, and we need to show that there's an avenue and a need for those spaces to exist.
Absolutely. And do you have a web? Well, absolutely. This is coming out on your website.
Yes.
And just in case somebody forgets the name of it, what's the name of the website?
It's bossworld.net.
Boss World. That answers my first question. Did you trying to boss the whole world up? Period. As far as this movement is concerned, it's getting a lot of momentum, getting a lot of media press.
Yes.
What do you want to see as the next phase of the Black Lives Matter movement that's going on right now?
I want to see some actual changes, and I'm not talking about people getting fired. I want to see people be held accountable for their actions. I want to see laws changed, and I want to see communities that have been, kind of disrespected and shunned upon to finally get the respect that they deserve. So.
Yes, no doubt. No doubt. I think this has been a great conversation.
Yes.
I think it'll inspire a lot of people.
I hope so.
Is there one final message you want to give to the people?
Let me see what I want to boss up and change your life, baby.
I think that says it all. This is Landry Dunn signing off for the Phresh Phix. Boss presents it, Boss represents it, Boss your life up.